What's up, guys? Today we're going to react to Dandy's World Theory, even though I haven't played the game. Or technically I did, I just don't know how to play it. Anyways, let's start the video.
Here we go. Roblox is at it again. Move over, doors. There's a new horror game in town that's taking the internet and our subreddit by storm, and its name is Dandy's World. But don't trust that smile for a minute, friends, because behind it is a sad and broken character who ruined the lives of his friends, his creators, and the very studio we're exploring.
Bruh.
Hello, internet.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
The show that just can't get enough black goo. Think about it. Bendy,
Black goo?
Doors, Welcome Home, Bob Mod, FNAF. All of them have a black goopy thing that leads to one thing. Oh, we should probably just plug it into my veins at this point. But alas, HR won't let me do it. And it's been a while since my last black goopy hit when I saw our subreddit blowing up with a game called Dandy's World that also had its own black goo. I was very excited to gobble up whatever.
Okay, buddy. Take a jump up.
On the surface, Dandy's World is a multiplayer survival horror game on Roblox. The game itself takes place in an abandoned educational center and museum called the Garden View Center. We play as these little creatures known as toons. Our job is to hop into the elevator with some friends and complete.
I'm gonna skip it a little bit. Skippity
to unlock even more toons. The deeper we go, the more we start to get a sense of what happened to this place once filled with the sounds of children's laughter and joy. What happened to this beloved place to shutter its doors, and why it has suddenly come back to life with evil versions of the toons known as Twisted. So are trying desperately to stop us dripping with that delightful black goo. There it is. Oh, that's the good stuff. So step into the elevator, loyal theorists, because we're gonna get to the bottom of what's really going on in Dandy's World and its smiling rainbow flower mascot. The history of the Garden View Center actually starts with this note that you can find if you don't die to the various Twisteds chasing you around the various floors. It's an application for a business loan dated 1984. From this, we can see that the Garden View Center is the brainchild of two young visionaries, Henry Stein and Joey Drew. Wait, no, I meant Delilah Keene and Arthur Walton. Although the connections between these two and Bendy definitely keep going. Thanks to a note sketched out by Arthur, we can tell that he was the one who originally designed the look of the toons. As for Delilah, she was a bit more sus. After seeing the sketch of the lead character Dandy, she writes back to Arthur saying,
"What about the others? You said he had friends, yes? I'll need them. Respond ASAP. By the way, out of coffee. Get more. Also ASAP."
If she's anything like me without my morning coffee, things are about to get real bad. Even worse if she's like Santi. But despite the clearly ominous language, Arthur doesn't seem fazed, saying,
"You've never failed me before, Delilah."
Then, in a recent update, the developers added these portraits of Garden View's two founders. Arthur is dressed to the nines. I tip my hat to you, sir. And Delilah is covered in black goo. This is how it starts. And then you decide to leave, and your business partner creates an inky dimension inside their apartment, which is meant to house an inky version of you that they can torture for all eternity. It's a tale as old as time. Although this black goo is a little different to the living ink from Bendy. It's called ichor. And not only can we find this black goo all over the place during the game, but when you get caught by a Twisted, your toon explodes into the stuff. It's almost like the Roblox PG safe version of blood. And the name certainly lends itself to that line of thinking. Ichor isn't just a made-up word. It comes from what is very quickly becoming my favorite thing to talk about on this channel.
Greek
Say it with me now. Greek mythology. I wonder why there's so much of this in indie horror these days.
Mamma mia. I thought it was Greek mythology.
Make sure you ink splat that subscribe button like your life depends on it, because it just might. Anyway,
alright, that's a little bit creepy.
Ancient Greeks believed that instead of having blood coursing through their veins, ichor is just the blood of the toons. Oh no, my friends, there is a lot more going on here. Because ichor is also this game's form of currency. We collect more and more of this stuff as we...
It's kind of weird, actually. If you think about it, they are using their own blood as, like, currency. Like, imagine us humans. We, like, took our blood and then sold it as currency. can already do that, actually. Never mind.
Descend further
This is
into the
not
levels of the
weird.
Garden View Center. But what do we use this precious iCore to purchase? More tunes to play as from Dandy's shop. Almost as
Or
if
tune
iCore
license,
isn't just the
actually.
blood that's coursing through them, but it's actually what is used to make the tunes. And given the notes and photos we found from earlier,
No
while
crap,
Arthur
Sherlock.
was the one who originally designed the tunes, it was Delilah who brought them to life using the iCore. I guess it really is just the ink machine after all. And similarly, it has an unfortunate side effect. You see, as you play and encounter more of the twisted tunes, you unlock research that gives you more lore about each character. Several of the research entries mention that it's the iCore, and more specifically being overcome by iCore, that turns these happy-go-lucky tunes
So imagine us, we had like too much blood and we turned into like weird blood human machine blood bags, something like that. Well, we're not machines, we're organic. I wonder how it would be. I wonder.
the twisted monsters they are now. That also
don't think
explains why all of the twisteds can be seen with ichor pouring out of every orifice. They
Why
are
are their eyes
literally
red,
so
though?
full of the stuff, it's leaking out of them. So then, if this
Wonder
stuff
why
is
their eyes
so
are red.
volatile, why make tunes to begin with? As I mentioned, Arthur and Delilah get their loan in 1984, and from there, they set up the Garden View Centre as a
1984?
children's educational
Old.
centre and museum. What it was a museum of back in 1984 is unclear exactly, but based on two Polaroid photos dated 1988, what is clear is that these characters were originally designed as a selling point for the
These
centre.
characters are
Unlike
old.
other attractions, the Garden View Centre didn't have just people in mascot costumes or
Mamma
cuddly
mia, I'm actually being a
animatronics.
hypocrite,
They
am
had
I?
living,
Yeah, being a
breathing
hypocrite.
versions of the
Shut
tunes
up,
that kids could
guys.
come and
Don't
meet.
talk to me.
We all know how well that goes. Although it appears as time went on, these characters became popular beyond just the centre. Despite this place looking abandoned,
Wow,
for years,
so
there
cool.
are a bunch of posters still lining the walls that give us some interesting details. First off, they made me realise that my
here we go.
own
Yep.
office will automatically apply your code at checkout. Thanks again to Display for sponsoring this video. It's probably
Yeah,
about time
yeah, I
we get
don't
to
care.
lining the walls of the Garden View Centre. In every corner of the Garden View Centre, there are CRTs playing a TV show full of lovable tunes who might look a little familiar. There are also posters of the different episodes of this show, along with the dates.
Yeah,
they
I'm not
originally
gonna
aired,
lie,
hung up
unlocking
on the
tunes
many
looks
walls
a
of the
bit
building.
tedious.
This show is Dandy's World, and the earliest date we see for the show is for the episode Snowy Adventure, which aired on Christmas 1990, 2 years after the
Mamma
earliest date we
mia.
know these tunes to have existed. The Garden View characters became so popular that they eventually created a show. The show wasn't just about the many adventures of Garden View, though. If you
Were these
take a
actual
look around the
animations
place,
in
you can
the
actually find
game?
storyboards for the show. If you don't know, storyboards are essentially what TV, movies, and even gaming studios will use to plan out a sequence of events and the shots that they will need to capture or draw for any given project. Meaning that this show was actively being worked
Imagine
on
they make a
here
real-life
at
Dandy
the
World
Garden
show.
View Centre. This wasn't just a place where kids could come to learn and play. It was also a TV studio. And as I realized that, I couldn't help but be reminded of a certain other TV studio slash theme park from the real. As the TV show are definitely cartoons, the characters themselves are toons. And they talk as if these events were real events that really happened.
Huh?
For example, one of the episodes of the Dandy's World TV show was called Winning Big, and it features a toon named Scraps on a game show, well, Winning Big, with the show being hosted by another toon, V. But despite this presumably happening on a fictional TV show, the actual V and Scraps have memories of this event. In one of the dialogues that can happen
Oh, they're like
among the
cartoon
characters
incarnates,
between levels, V
basically.
and Scraps
Cartoon
say
incarnates.
this.
Hey V, you're not mad at me for winning all of your game show prizes, right, V? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
In another set of dialogue, V claims
Mamma
Scraps'
mia.
victory on the game show was down to pure luck. It doesn't really make much sense that V would be so salty about what happened on a TV show about
Oh, I
her.
feel so
Instead,
stressed.
it's more likely that she is mad because it really happened. These toons are more than just live-action characters for the kids to meet. They were the performers that
I can't
starred
believe
in
it.
the
They're
show.
real.
And those kids who were touring the center would have the chance to watch the show being recorded live. And I use the word would have very specifically. The show was a massive success. We know that by 1990, Dandy's World was on the air and ran for over a decade. But as with all
I can't
the horror
believe it.
histories, the winning streak couldn't last forever. The final episode of the show was planned for July 21st, 2002. But from what we
2002?
can tell, it never
Old.
actually made it to air because according to the city newspaper, on June 24th, 2002, the Garden View Centre closed its doors. The last aired episode we
Gosh
know
darn
about
it.
was from 2001, which is another reason why I feel like Dandy's World Overworld was
just
being
gonna animate
produced
it
as
in,
a
that's
live
it.
action production. If there was just another animated cartoon, we'd likely see remnants of the show still going on, but as it stands, the show stopped at the same time the studio did. However, compared to Nick Studios' closure being due to the heavy shift in animation and the increase in shows needing to be filmed in Los Angeles, Garden View's closure was a little more mysterious. According to that same newspaper,
Look
it
we
was
have
shut down
here.
due to a quote malfunction incident, which, as we all know, is indie horror
Well,
corporate
well.
speak for our creation turned on us and tried to kill everyone. It's even more suspicious.
Gosh
when the
darn it,
creator,
not
Arthur,
again.
was asked to comment and chose to remain silent, especially.
Oh,
when
come on,
behind the
buddy.
scenes,
Now I
he
look
makes
more
it
sus.
abundantly clear that he knew exactly what was going on. He writes in a letter to his longtime business partner Delilah.
Delilah, we need to talk. I know you've kept reassuring me that what had happened wasn't due to anything you had done. You had to have known this could happen to him. If you did,
Oh,
why
come
didn't you
on
tell me?
now.
Why didn't you tell me? Something like this doesn't just happen.
That him that Arthur is referring to, the one that something happened to,
Yeah,
the
I
one
already
that
know it's Dandy.
malfunctioned, I believe, is none
I
other
can't
than the
believe it,
star
Dandy's
of the
evil.
show, our titular flower, Dandy. Let me explain.
I
Ever
knew it,
since
Dandy
Garden
was
View
evil.
Center closed down, several of the other toons have talked about how uneasy they feel around him. And we don't have to take their word for it. We can see it for ourselves in-game. In between levels, Dandy pops up in the elevator to sell you power-ups to make your run easier. But if you instead choose to not buy from him, Dandy starts to get more and more frustrated. If you continue to ignore him, things become less fine and dandy, and he'll have
Like,
a
fun and
full-blown
dandy?
meltdown. He will turn into his twisted form, and you'd better watch out because he'll soon spawn on an upcoming level to hunt you down. Dandy is a loose cannon, ready to snap at any moment if he doesn't get his
That
way.
sounds actually kind of cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. No, dude, well, that design actually looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Based on my years of indie horror experience, my hunch is that this is what happened on the day of the malfunction. Dandy was the first
I can't believe
creation,
it.
Arthur's main guy, but unlike the others, we're being shown that he can transform into a Twisted rather than just
Bruh.
being a Twisted, which lines up with the idea that this mascot malfunctioned, transforming into a Twisted and created an incident that got the entire place shut down. And that hunch proved to be correct when I found his research data.
How does he not overload with Ichor, actually? It kind of makes no sense. Can you, like, not overload with Ichor? Oh, doesn't matter.
Quote, the star of the show, the one who runs the I-Core operation. It's all his fault. Everything
Gosh
we're
darn it.
experiencing, the abandoned studio taken over by monsters, the studio shutting down leading to this point, it's all Dandy's fault. However,
Dandy,
the
what the heck
reason
is
for
wrong with you,
Dandy's
buddy?
snap isn't quite as simple as you might think. With Dandy being the primary mascot in a mascot horror game, it would be easy to just assume he's purely evil. Maybe the fame got to him. Maybe he cracked under the pressure.
cracked
but
a lot. Of
eventually
course
was
fame got to
overcome
him.
by
He's
the
the main
power of
character.
the I-Core and became pure evil. But that isn't the case. There's a little bit of audio storytelling.
Wonder if
that
there's,
you
like, a
might have
villain
missed while
in
playing
Dandy's
through the
world,
game
like,
yourself. When
fake
Twisted
evil
Dandy chases
villain.
you in game, a song plays that
In
you've
the
no
cartoon
doubt
show.
heard before, but probably never knew the name of.
Ooh, my ears. Ooh, I heard of that before. Pretty sure.
This song is called Claire de Lune, and it's based off an 1869 poem by Paul Verlaine. A poem about someone who looks happy on the outside, but deep down is sad. Quote, playing the lute and dancing and all, but sad beneath their fantasy disguises. This song is telling us what Dandy and also
nice
his
poem.
friends are. They are these picture-perfect, happy, smiling toons performing for the joy of others, but deep down, they're sad. And they're sad
Let me
because
guess,
of
you're getting
what we saw
abused.
during the Christmas update last year. According to another set of letters, after Christmas had passed, some of the Christmas-themed toons were doing the whole Blair Witch thing and hiding in the corner. Delilah's response was basically, Christmas is over, just throw them into storage till next year. Even though
Well,
the
that's
toons
dark.
are alive, they were being abused by their handlers and treated like props. Only good for the thing they were made for and nothing else. Behind their smiles were sad and lonely creatures. Dandy's dialogue when he thinks you're ignoring him at the shop matches this.
We're friends there, right? Friend? What is happening?
He's confused, he's scared, he is terrified that he too has lived past his usefulness. That if he is no longer the star, that he and his friends face the same fate as those Christmas toons. And my guess is, that's exactly what happened on that fateful day in 2001. Dandy saw how his friends were being treated. He got scared. He didn't want to be ignored, to be forgotten, to no longer be the star. And as a result, he became overcome by the I-Core and ultimately caused all the toons toons to be locked away forever. A self-fulfilling
Yeah,
prophecy.
buddy, that was
That's
not a
why,
smart
as
idea.
his
I'm not
research
gonna lie.
report says, he has restarted the iCore project. It's not because
Gosh
he's trying
darn
to
it.
build an army of evil toons to take over the world or to enact his revenge on those who wronged him. He's trying to atone for his sins. He and his friends lost everything, and it's all his fault. Now he's trying to bring the show back to life. He specifically keeps asking you to find and collect and give him the VHS tapes of the show, and he's using the iCore to create
How many tapes
more
are there?
toons. Maybe, just maybe, if all the toons come back, so too will the fans, the kids, the show, and Dandy can once again be the star he was literally born to be. But he is not the original creator. He's not Delilah. He doesn't know how to use the iCore properly. He's using too much, and so all of his toon friends are ending up with
So
twisted
that's why
monsters.
they're
But
evil.
hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
World premiere on Game Theory.
Seek's rise from random entity to final.
Well, guys, that's the end of the Fury. Wait, what? Oops, no, we're not watching it. We're not watching that. I mean, we can watch it next time, but otherwise, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.